everybody. It is time to talk about the handbook and getting it set up. So we have a couple different options that I would recommend for your setup if you are planning on printing out the entire book. And both of them were mentioned on my supplies list, and I gave options for the disc bound and the binder. So my personal setup is going to be here in the disc bound, mostly because I don't use a disc bound a lot, and I thought this would be like a really fun reason, and the pages pull out really nicely, and I thought this is the perfect opportunity to use it. I love binders, and I also see the merit in that. So these are also simple. You can get a 3-ring binder easily in Office Supply, Target, Walmart. So this particular one, this Avery with the durable clear cover, this one I really like the structure of it because the mechanism is on the back and not on the spine. So you're not putting stress on your pages. The cover is doing all the work. See that? How the pages stay completely intact. They're not curling around the binder, which you see happen a lot in around the rings, which you see happen a lot in planners. You'll notice that like your planners start to curl around in the back. So if you can find binders that have that type of mechanism, that's what I would recommend. We're hoping that these are going to get fluffy with time than they already are, because we're going to be adding artwork and creating in them, if that's what you want to do. Otherwise, you can use a TN or like a traveler's notebook or a journal to use on your own and not design directly inside the book. So I wanted to show you this particular setup of mine. This is not the exact product I use. This is actually from a different product, but I can't remember where I got it from. So this is this most similar thing to it. This is Staples, and it's their ARC product. And they call these disc-bound notebooks. So what they come with is a slightly wider poly cover on both the back and front. So you can see that you have all this room to add your tabs to the edge of the pages, and they'll be perfectly protected inside the cover. These style of notebooks usually come with the plastic rings. These ones are pretty small. They're like 1/2 inch size. But this is about $9, $10, and it comes with all this great notebook paper. So that's what I did. I took apart one of these and took the covers off of it. I bought my own discs separately. These are the Staples ARC, and they're metal because I prefer metal over plastic any day. All of my disc-bound books always end up with metal rings. This is kind of the inspiration that the Reset Your Self-Care Handbook came from, was this guy. So I designed this book for a workshop, and it's really about building like vision boards and all kinds of magazine clippings and stuff. This was all about like fitness. So I wanted to create basically my own magazine. And so that's kind of some of the concepts and ideas that I brought into this book. So I might take some of the contents in here and put them in this one. That's what I was actually thinking would be kind of fun. I want to take some of the other things I've been doing. Like I have another book here. And this is where this cover came from. It came from this. And I cannot, for the life of me, figure out what company made this product. So it used to have this plastic cover, clear plastic rings, and then it has these clear plastic dividers, and they have a pocket in them. And the inside of the notebook was paper. Now, I think I added, see, I have 2 different brands of paper in here. So I think this thing just became this little Frankenstein disc bound, and I'm really sad that I couldn't find it. I Googled, I searched, I'm like, where could this have come from? And no matter what I did, I couldn't figure it out. So this book was designed for another project all about creativity, and it was like taking pictures that inspired me and making like little notes about things that I liked about them. This was the first time I ever saw anyone use the Reset Girl scrapbook collection with the one with simple stories. So I took a screenshot of it and I made a little note in here. But so these were a lot of different like things that I saw that I loved. And I thought, well, I want to put all the things that really inspire me and put them into an actual book that I would create in, so I could turn right to the page and go, okay, I love this, 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 and about that picture. So I'm going to, maybe recreate it with the supplies I have, or use elements of the layout, the way that they created this. Maybe I would substitute washi for that. So I would make it my own. And so that's where these pages came from. So that is kind of part of the thought process behind this handbook. It came from these other things, and I want to take the best parts of these books and kind of put them into mine. So that's what you're going to start seeing when I share my book and working from my book. It's going to have in the back, I'm going to start adding more pieces to the back of it, which you are more than welcome to do too. And so I can continue adding more inspiration, fitness information, all that good stuff. So this particular disc bound is made on the 1-inch rings. So it said it could take 150 pages, and the book, it's printed double-sided, so it ends up being about 80-ish pages right now, pieces of paper pages. So I have plenty of room to keep adding more, which is very exciting. So what I wanted to show you, now that I've shown you where the history of where some of this stuff came from and how I'm going to be incorporating it into my book, is I wanted to demonstrate how, if you wanted to make a divider, and make dividers for this handbook, you certainly can. And you will be able to do that pretty easily. I did a lot of the sections in a way that every main section kind of had, this is in the main section. Let me go back. Okay, here's the main section. I made sure that like the main sections had really, really big font. So you'd be able to lay a divider, and instead of using my arm, you would be able to put a divider in between very easily. It wouldn't break up any of the spreads. There'd be a cover page for the beginning of a new, and then you'd have a quote for the end of the previous. So that was my thought process, is that you could easily put a divider in there. And I'm going to just demonstrate real quick doing that in my own. I kind of have gone back and forth. I kept thinking, I don't want to, maybe I won't do that. Maybe I'm going to sit with it. Maybe I'm going to think through it. So I think what I'm going to do is demo the dividers. I'm going to put one of them in there and see what I think. Because I love the idea of embellishing and adding all like the delicious tabs. And tabs, to me, work better when you put them on real dividers and not just on, paper you're intending to write on. So I think if I want the tabs, I have to have the dividers. And maybe I will appreciate having that level of division, especially if I'm going to add a whole new chunk of content here in the back of the handbook. So it starts with a list. I sat down and went directly to the table of contents. And you have here this enormous little list here of all of the different sections. So I kind of looked at how I wanted to set mine up. The first part of my book, which is not shown here, but I'm going to put all of my notes, like all of my content and the plan that I have for Camp Reset. My working notes are actually going to go right here in the front. Because that's what's most important to me, making sure you guys get everything you need each week. So then I'm going to go ahead and then create a section, and I'm personally going to consolidate everything together up until the first week. So right here, I'm going to stick a divider. And I came up with 7. I'm going to divide my workbook up into 7 sections, and then I'm going to add 2 more at the end for a total of 9 dividers. So I went through my scrapbook collection, my scrapbook paper, and I found all this fun stuff here and picked out all the papers I liked, and I picked out 9 sheets. And then this set of punchable tabs is from the brand new Retreat digital collection that we are debuting this weekend, the first weekend of camp. This is from last year's Camp Reset, but we never did a digital version then. All we had was the physical kit. So we had a whole digital collection made from that artwork, and I love it. So I want to go ahead and use these tabs, and I have the punch that goes with them. It's based on the We Are Memory Keepers punch, which is linked on the supplies list page. So I'm going to whip up a divider here, and it's really not going to be, it's not magic. I'm not going to do nothing fancy here. So I'm just using just a piece of paper, clearly, as my template. And I love cutting with scissors because I love the feel of cutting with scissors. But I know a lot of people are very particular. They want to use paper trimmer, and that's totally fine. I don't find that I have good luck with paper trimmers at all. So I am cutting off. Ooh, what's going on here? I'm going to go ahead and just cut. I am admittedly a pretty lazy crafter. I don't bother measuring a whole lot. I don't mind if things aren't like completely straight, if they're slightly wonky. I have found with dividers that it's pretty hard to tell when they're cut wrong because you end up putting tabs on them and flipping them around so much that you really don't notice it. So I've just learned to just go with the flow with that. So I have my first divider. So whether or not you are doing a disc bound or you're doing your binder, they're both the same method. You're just cutting one sheet of letter-sized paper and then punching it. So I have my punch here, and this punch is no longer available. This is the Foray brand, and it's really old. I'm going to say I got it probably 10 years ago. Okay, so I love disc bound. I just love the little sound they make when they cling to the disc, the little snap they make, the sound. And the feel when you tear them off the discs, oh, it's so yummy. Okay, so there you go. There's my magical divider. Now, I am very picky about making dividers. I really often don't like the back side. It's kind of like the B side of a record. I just often don't care for it. So that's a big reason why I tend to do a lot of double-sided dividers. But in this case, the ones I picked out, I actually felt like all their back sides I was fine with. So I'm just going to keep these single-sided. So they'll be cardstock thickness, you know, and I think that's good enough. Really simple, just plain green on the back. So I can live with that. Plus, I have a feeling, knowing me, I'll end up embellishing this somehow, and that's the fun thing about dividers, is that now you have a whole little playground to kind of create on. So I might make like a little spread there, something maybe that's inspired by this particular topic or the quote on there, whatever it happens to be. So according to my little list here, I was planning on keeping all of this together. Well, actually, I actually need to have, if I'm really doing this the way that I said, I'm going to put a divider here because there's going to be stuff that's going to sit up on top of it. And I want to pick a paper that's going to look good next to my cover here. That's pretty. That's probably competing too much with it. So I think I'm going to go with this one, which I like a lot. It kind of looks like pine needles a little bit. So that will be the cover on the front. Now, because this is not, it has these shapes on it, I'm going to see if I can get a letter size paper out of it that's not so, what was I going to say? It's not cut wonky. I want to try and capture, yeah, it won't be perfectly lined up. I think it'll probably be better if it's cut, if I cut it so the tops of the books are showing there and cutting off the bottom of the books. I think the bottom of the books is more forgiving than the top. So I am laying this out just so I get a particular part of the paper in my divider. I missed this particular collection, Chasing Dreams. I don't think I bought any of it. And I was placing a big order with American Crafts, and I saw it then, and I just thought it was so cute. These gold scissors are so magnificent. If you do not have a pair, I'm linking them. They are on my favorites list, but I will make sure that they're on the supplies page too. They are just heavenly to cut with. So as you can see, this is a really simple process. You are just adding, just cutting some paper. And that's why I would say, like, you know, try not to make it, try not to worry so much about them being perfect and being stressed and worried about getting it just right. Because this is supposed to be like this fun handbook that you're creating and adding all kinds of fun and whimsy to. So we don't want it to be this, you know, it's supposed to be fun. So look, I'm already getting some color in there. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add one of my tabs so that you can see. So they're doubled up because I always make a backside for my tabs. And with all of this pattern, it makes me feel like I'm going to go with these right here. So I'm going to cut them out that way. And I even marked which tabs I liked a lot. Ooh, hopefully that's a... snip. Okay. Okay, so I have a front side and a back side. So I'm going to go ahead and take my little glue stick and glue down the middles. Now you can put your tabs together so that you're gluing the front on the front and then attaching the back side to it, so you're sandwiching the divider in between. I don't personally care for that. I like to know that I could pop the tab off if I wanted to. So I'm just going to trim this one because I did not glue it perfectly straight. And it wouldn't bother me so much if I didn't have so much white showing all around the edge. Okay. And there we go. Okay, so I think if people could see how wonky I cut things and have all of this mistakes in them, they would be like, wow. You have a lot of laziness in your crafting. So I really like the front where it's just plain wood. I don't know. I see the merit of doing it the other way, but like obviously that was meant for writing on, but I like the idea of it just having the plain wood tab. And I also know what that tab means. It's that like everything behind there is the actual good stuff, and the stuff on top of here is my work stuff. So I won't have a divider or anything else like that. Actually, I think that I really like this too, you know, using that. Interesting. Maybe I'll just use scrapbook paper for... I love this picture so much. I have another version of it. I wonder if I should like cut part of it out and... No, I really like her. I don't know. I'm so torn. Decisions. Okay. So moving on. that's 2 dividers in, and then I would just continue on all the way through the book. And then once you have your dividers in place, each of them becomes like a really fun place to do some embellishing if you want to, especially pages where there's lots of like, it's more, kind of more of like a solid pattern, or it's very minimal in pattern. Like this kind of pattern, I would probably put a more solid piece of scrap, like paper down on it. You know, if I was going to layer stuff, you know, like something that was more solidy to like write something or add a honey or something like that. Speaking of honeys, I wanted to demonstrate something. So let me just show you these pages where there's a quote. They were designed this way to have like white space around them on purpose. And the reason why is because for those of you who wanted to decorate and embellish, we had offered, and we still have them available, is the Camp Reset Edition honeys. These guys are wearing, all their clothes have been changed, and like the details have been changed so that they match the Camp Reset pattern and palettes and all of that. So like this girl in her cute dress, this dress is designed after a pillow that I have on my bed, this really cute pattern. So I love her. She is super, super sassy. So to me, this was a perfect place to be able to add honeys like this if you wanted to. So they just lend themselves to that. Let's see. I'm trying to see where her arm would show. So I printed these little honeys on clear matte sticker stock. Okay, so I am cutting out this girl. I'm really excited to use some of that that retreat collection. I love that little kit that we made last year. I really wish we could have made, you know, more of a kit, a physical kit for Camp Reset this year. But there is always next year. And next year, we will definitely be on our A game when it comes to having... I have some very specific physical product in mind that I want to have for next year, like a t-shirt. That would be so fun. Okay, so let's get our little shoe trimmed off here. So she is on this matte, she's kind of clear, so you could layer her over like print or something and it would kind of show through her a little bit. But it won't matter here because we are going to put her down on white. Okay, finally got it. So she's kind of like handling like tape. See how she's clear? She's slightly transparent. Okay. So I'm going to lay her down. And look how sassy she is. I just love her. So that was kind of the point of why I designed a lot of the pages this way. It was to give you the opportunity to kind of make a little vignette, you know, add more stuff. And I'll probably layer up some more things there too, knowing me. That's just too much white space there. So that would be another an opportunity for design and decorating, are those kind of quote pages. And then I believe here is where I would put another divider. So you can go through and do what I did, which is to make a list and decide what's most important. I kind of consolidated the entire arts and crafts section together. But you might decide you want to have like your Lister's Got a List be a separate section. The one section I did kind of pull out from where, like there's this whole section called self-care resources. And in that are the vision board pages. I'm going to give vision board pages their own section because I love building vision boards so much that I want them to have their own, I want them to have their own section, their own divider. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to give them that. And I can't wait when I was making up the prompts for these pages, I was like, oh man, I can't wait to actually make these pages. I'm so excited. I feel so inspired. That's what's really exciting, I think, is that I feel inspired to actually do stuff in this book. So I hope that you will end up feeling the same way. Here is an opportunity for like watercoloring or penciling her in. That would be fun. So I think she's pretty much, I think she's the only quote where the quote page that actually had artwork on it. So then here's our brain dump pages and creativity is self-care. This is going to be a really super fun book to work in, I think, for me personally. I hope for you, but I'm really feeling inspired this year. I feel like I've turned a corner with my crafting, and I feel like I'm ready to get going with it. So, I hope that this experience does the same thing for you. That there's so many different fun crafting opportunities that we're going to be working on this camp session. So it's going to be a lot of fun. So whether you prefer the 3-ring or the disc bound, you're going to be making dividers the same way if that's how you want to do them. You can also buy them pre-made, like a store-bought version, and throw them in there. But you know, it is a way to put your personal stamp on it. So that's always a fun thing. And I do love the fact that it adds just like this awesome amount of color throughout. So that is a must. Now I've fallen in love with the divider idea. So I'm going to get my whole book set up with dividers, and then there will be, as we go through camp, there will be other videos where I will go into more detail with that and showing more specific projects in the book. So I just wanted to do a very brief, like, this is how you can set up your handbook. Here's your 2 options. And then if you missed the video that I did the whole flip through on, where I went through all the pages, we're going to put a copy of that video into the media lounge so you can see that. That was put up on YouTube yesterday, and just for convenience sake, I'll put it up there because I spend time going through all the pages. And this video, I wanted to show more about the setup itself. And so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Put that video up for you. And later in the week, I will probably, I'm going to film myself doing the entire setup more than likely. And then I'll put that video into the media lounge as well. So if you want to do like a craft session with me while I get my book all set up, we can do that later in the week or next week. So that's going to be the fun thing about camp, is if I end up working on stuff, and I'm trying to keep the videos kind of on the shorter side, the ones that are on the main page. And then when I go long and spend time working on a project or something, I have the option of putting it in the media lounge. And that's where you can kind of wander in there to find something you may want to spend more time watching or looking at. Lots of music resources in there if you want to like craft while, you know, and listen to fun, relaxing music. So lots of fun options in the media lounge, and I hope you check that out. So either direction you go, you still have the same opportunity to get crafty, and I really, truly can't wait to see all the different ways you guys do your books. We're going to be having a handbook peek post. I believe it's on Thursday, every Thursday, I think, but I could check my calendar. Why don't I do that? Let's check together. Okay, so let's see here. Actually, Handbook Peek is on Wednesday. So every Wednesday, there will be a post going up in the community center for everyone to share their handbooks. So that will be super fun. And then later that day, we'll be having a live camp meeting. So you'll get a chance to share every week what you got going in your book. And I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see all of us just spending time building and fun stuff in there. So that's it for this session, and I hope that you've gotten an idea of the fun that you could have with making some additional custom dividers and making that part of one of your crafting self-care sessions. So I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!